intentamos salvar vidas. No siempre podemos salvar a todo el mundo. Pero uno no se rinde.
So you've said that this movie deconstructs the superhero genre, and that it has a non-traditional three-act structure. What did you mean by that?
Well, it's the traditional three-act structure of a superhero film is that you introduce the hero in the first act. He has some sort of flaw or emotional issue that he's dealing with. You separately introduce a villain who has an agenda. In the second act of those films, traditionally the hero and the villain come into conflict with each other. In the third act, the hero defeats the villain. And this is a movie where the hero of the film, Captain America, never actually even confronts the villain of the movie. So it's about emotional choices that the character makes, and it's taking two of the heroes of the Marvel Universe and putting them in complete conflict with each other. So in that respect, it subverts your expectations about what a traditional superhero movie structure is.
I'd really want to know how much of this film is yours as creators and directors, and how much of it is it's from a larger plan of Kevin Feige's plan.
Marvel has... Here's the thing about Kevin, and I think this is why he's so good and so effective at guiding the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is he has a very strong attitude of one movie at a time. He doesn't get himself too far ahead. Even though there's sort of many thoughts about where things could go, nothing's sacred, so to speak, because he likes to give the space to every movie and all the filmmakers to make each movie everything it wants to be without having to hit a mark. And I think that's part of the reason why Marvel's been so successful, because there is a lot of freedom in terms of what each movie can be. Guardians of the Galaxy is very different from Ant-Man, it's very different from Avengers, it's very different from Winter Soldier, etc. These movies are all distinct voices and distinct visions for where these characters can go and what these stories can be. And I think that's been largely the recipe for success.
You wanted Spider-Man all along, even when Marvel didn't hold the rights. What would you have done if you couldn't use that character?
I don't know, because we really committed to a story that had him, and we really weren't interested in any stories that didn't. So, look, it was so difficult a task to get two major studios to agree on a billion-dollar piece of IP to be shared by both studios, that we knew that at any point, if he and I acted as if we could tell the story without the character, that they would just find a way not to make the deal happen. So it was incumbent upon us by sheer force of will, to push both parties into a deal. And, an incredible amount of credit goes to Kevin Feige for pulling this off.
I've heard that Kevin Feige was on board with your, say, radical ideas once Warner announced Batman v Superman. Is that right?
No.
What's
No. It was never related to Batman versus Superman. I think, the process was always, where do we want to take Captain America in his next movie? It's like, for us, the thing we love about Captain America is he's a very strong character, physically and morally. And it's like, how do you test a guy like that? So for us, the most exciting road forward in terms of testing him was like, well, let's turn his friends on him and see how Cap reacts to that. For us, it just became the most exciting version of where we could take the character. The other thing we loved about Civil War was we liked the idea that Captain America was basically introduced in the first Avenger as a patriot. In this movie, we're taking him to the place of insurgency. And that was very exciting. And Civil War gave us the ability to do that on a narrative level. So that's how we were led to Civil War on a storytelling level. It was not, there's no sort of like, I think Marvel would be far less successful at what it was doing if it was being reactive to what other people do.
Can you tell me how the events of this movie are going to be reflected in Infinity War?
Civil War isn't finished, obviously. There's an incredible amount of fallout at the end of this movie. The characters are left in an extremely divided place. And, we thought interesting storytelling would be, which is why we felt that Civil War would be a really good story to tell for the third Captain America film, is because it would really set up Infinity War, where you've got the Avengers as fractured as they've ever been, and the greatest threat to the universe is coming at them. And can they repair their relationships? Should they repair their relationships? Will they repair them in time? Is really the question.
Okay, you said you had to ask for more money in this movie, and you couldn't say what it was for because it would be a spoiler. Can you tell us now?
Oh, no. Well, see, the problem
It's still
is
it's
once
still a
people see the
spoiler.
movie and it's been out there, then we could talk about
Yeah. It's,
what we had to go back and ask for.
Well, part of the thing, we can't talk about one thing because people know that Robert Downey Jr. is in the movie and Iron Man is in the movie. Certainly that changes the financial equation of a movie. So Captain America 3 did not necessarily have that character in the movie. So that was a creative choice that we made, that the studio had to change their financial model for the movie in order to accommodate. And they liked they loved our creative vision for what that was. Robert Downey Jr. wanted to be a part of it when we pitched it to him, so the studio was able to work it out financially. But that's one example, but there are others. Yeah.
You're not going to tell me.
No, not yet.
Can't. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe in a few months.
Muy bien, se acabó la paciencia. ¡Gallumbos!
Hola a todos.